So I want to practice this again because in the last one I did, I talked kind of fast, so I'm going to try to slow down. I had a feeling that I was talking fast, but it's hard to tell. I look like I need to go to bed and this won't like focus, so it's just gonna be like that, but I want to be able to look at this and we're just gonna see how this goes. I cut out a section also, so we're gonna see how that affects the time, even though I'm pretty sure the section I took out only took up like a minute and a half of the time, and I went 13 minutes instead of 10. So I've got my notes here. I have my laptop. It's not gonna focus. I don't want to keep tapping the screen. I wish it would just stay like this. That looks very warm and cozy, but we're just gonna see how it goes. Oh, that was kind of sick. Anyways, okay. And now I have my hair down because I washed it so it can be clean tomorrow. So I'm practicing it with my hair down for the first time, which is stupid to consider, but here we are. Okay, maybe it will stay like this. That would be great. Okay, I'm gonna wait till it gets to the 2-minute mark. That's in 12 seconds. So we're gonna wait 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, hello everybody. I am Bethany, as you can see, and today I will be presenting on Title IX's history. So just real quick, can I get a show of hands? Just who knows what Title IX is? If you don't know what it is, it's okay. I didn't know what it was until like 3 years ago, but it is very important that we all understand what it is because it can benefit all of us. So let's get into it. For the benefit of your peer evaluations, my 3 research questions are, I have to read them. What specific events and or people laid the foundation for Title IX? Who was Bernice Sandler and why is she considered the godmother of Title IX? And what, if any, events or actions took place that predate Sandler's contributions to Title IX? Let me know if you needed me to go back to this slide at the end. So, my main goals for this presentation are to get a better understanding of Title IX and its history, to bring attention to key political actors who have gone relatively unknown, and to amplify the voices of women and girls who have experienced sex discrimination. I'm gonna have this more organized. Okay, so before I go any further, I want to explain what Title IX actually is. So in basic terms, Title IX is a law under the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that protects against discrimination based on sex. In the past few years, these protections have expanded to include gender identity and sexual orientation. And I don't have the time to go into it right now, but Title IX is also an entire process that is very unnecessarily long and complicated, I think. So if you want to know about that whole process, feel free to talk to me afterwards. I just don't have time to fit it into this. It's, like I said, very, very long. So the law itself is only composed of 37 words. It says, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in or be denied the benefits of or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So basically, this means that if a school is found liable for discrimination against someone based on their sex, that school is at risk of losing their federal funding. But despite that consequence being the center of the law, no school has ever lost federal funding as a result of a Title IX violation. So do with that info what you will. So I feel like I haven't so far been very enthusiastic about Title IX, but it is still very important, and it couldn't have been done without Bernice Sandler. She is referred to as the godmother of Title IX because she is one of the sole reasons why the law was passed or even thought of. So in 1969, Sandler was applying for a university position, and at this point, she had already had a master's degree in clinical and school psychology. But despite all of her experience and her degree, she was told that she, quote, came on too strong for a woman. And this is what sort of jump-started her advocacy. And then on September 24th, 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed Executive Order 11246, which established equal employment opportunity. And one word that was included in this executive order was sex. And this one word being included in there gave Sandler a direct path into the national and legal conversation on sex discrimination. And so finally, after a decade of work and advocacy, Title IX was added to the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in 1972. But Title IX's inclusion in the law did not prevent sex discrimination, nor did it make it easier to remedy it. Not immediately, at least. And this is where I'm going to start going on a little side tangent for a moment. It's still important though. So, in order for a student to file a complaint, there has to be what's called a hostile work environment. But the trouble is that the law is not clear on what constitutes a hostile work environment. The Office of Civil Rights, the Office for Civil Rights, under the U.S. Department of Education defines sexual harassment that creates a hostile work environment as, quote, conduct of a sexual nature that is sufficiently severe, persistent, or pervasive to limit a student's ability to participate in or benefit from the education program, or to create a hostile or abusive educational environment. So that helps a little bit. But for several years after Title IX was first passed, there was no definition for this, which led to a lot of confusion within the whole process. So while victims might be more likely to argue that a hostile work environment starts once a student or professor makes a sexually discriminatory remark, a lot of judges say that a hostile work environment doesn't begin until the school fails to remedy the situation. Not when it starts, but after it's happened and after the school does not make efforts to resolve the situation. And as of now, that definition is still not clear, so there's still, sadly, a lot of confusion in that regard. So side tangent aside, I think it's also important to recognize other women besides Bernice Sandler who fought against sex discrimination years before Title IX was even conceived or before Sandler entered the conversation. So on the left here, we have Katherine Allen. She was a physical education teacher in the late 1920s and 1930s. So about 4 decades before Title IX, she helped shape, quote, the physical and philosophical infrastructures that helped pave the way for the law's enactment. And on the right here, we have Celeste Ulrich, who was also a physical education teacher in the mid-20th century. In a 1990 interview, she stated her experiences as a female physical education teacher. She said that she was subjected to rumors about her sexuality, and other male faculty members told her, quote, "You're so bright, you don't have to go into physical education. If you want to teach, why don't you teach science or language?" So while these two women have gone largely unknown on a national level, each of them made efforts to combat sex discrimination in education far before Title IX or Bernice Sandler were brought into the picture. Did I click it? Okay. So circling back to Bernice Sandler, I want to talk about what is called the chilly classroom climate. This phrase comes from the document published by the Project on the Status and Education of Women, and that was written by Bernice Sandler and Roberta M. Hall in 1982. And this document is the packet I passed out to all of you. I know it looks difficult to read because the text is very small, but I think it's very worth the read. So this document was published 10 years after Title IX became law, and it shows how women and students are treated differently in classroom settings and how these environments affect both female students and male students. So the goal of this study was to, quote, help faculty, students, and administrators become more aware of the subtle and not so subtle ways in which women and men students are often treated differently, and to indicate specific actions they can take to create a learning environment that best fosters the intellectual growth of all students. So, oh my god, my papers and stuff to take together. Okay. You can find more of their goals on the top of page 6. There is one section in the document called Voices of the Campus, which was the inspiration for my title. This section included direct quotes from female students across the country, explaining the different ways teachers and professors have discriminated against them in some way based on their sex. One example that's listed in there is during one class discussion, a female student reported that a professor cut her off and asked her if she had freckles all over her body. But to me, the most powerful quote came from a PhD student at Harvard. She said, "You come in the door equal but having experienced the discrimination, the refusal of professors to take you seriously, the sexual overtures and the like. You limp out doubting your own ability to do very much of anything." And this quote, I think, just kind of summed it all up for me. I read this in the document and I just started sobbing. I was like, this is the entire point. One of the objectives I listed at the beginning was to amplify the voices of female students from the past who have been through this sort of thing. So when I found this quote, it was just like, that's it. She says that we all start out equal when we walk in the door, but then when the discrimination happens, it sort of invalidates every aspect of your existence in a way by limiting your entire sense of self to your sex and your body and your appearance. And the imagery of limping out, as she said, just really tied it together. And I think this quote also shows that not a whole lot has changed. And that's not to say that policies haven't changed, because they definitely have, but I think a lot of us girls in the room can relate in some way to this quote from 42 years ago. And it shouldn't be that way. But that's why we need to learn about Title IX's history and understand it. We can look at the law all day long and memorize those 37 words, but if we don't understand why Title IX happened and what the context of it is, we won't understand the need for it. And it's also important to learn about the history, because the history shows that it has never been just about sports like we tend to think nowadays. And it's also so important to give credit to the people who worked hard for Title IX, like Bernice Sandler and Catherine Allen and Celeste Ulrich, and even all the unnamed girls in the packet I gave you. And when we look at a law's history, we can get important context that helps us understand where we are now and why. And then we can reflect on that in a way that helps us create better legislation that treats everyone involved with fairness and patience and understanding. And here are my sources. Thanks. That was still, let's see, I started at 2 minutes in. And so that was 12 and a half. Well, I mean, I don't know what else I could cut out, and I had to slow down because otherwise you couldn't really understand some things I was saying. Whenever I said Bernice Sandler, it sounded like I was saying Bernie Sandler, like Bernie Sanders. And some words like ran together, like advocacy was a hard one. I don't remember what other ones there were. There were some other ones that were like, they kind of ran together and were like jumbly, mumbly nonsense. So I do have to slow down, and I will speak with a much brighter tone. I just had a weird night, so I'm reeling, feeling the feelings, processing, sitting with them, letting them exist for a moment. But tomorrow I will be bright and ready to go, and I'm also kind of tired, and I'm almost ready to go to bed because it is 11:15 and I want to get plenty of sleep. So that was the 4th time I've practiced this, and I feel like that was the best run. I'm probably gonna rewatch this in a second. And then yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can do. It's in 9 hours, not even, less than 9 hours. So there's not a whole lot that I can change at this point or fix, because I'm not planning on practicing this again. Maybe in the morning, but in the morning my plan is to get up at a good time, eat a good breakfast, maybe some Nutella toast and some yogurt, and my bananas aren't ready yet, and apples kind of take a while. We'll see. And then I'm gonna do my hair, and I'm gonna get dressed. I'm gonna do my makeup, put on a cute outfit, and then I'm gonna listen to some hype music so I can get motivated, and because that's been helping a lot, is listening to like some hype music. So we're gonna do that, and then whenever all of that's over, because I'm gonna go first, so I'll get it over with. And everybody else that's gone up there has been very nervous, and so I'm gonna try to go up there and be as opposite of that as possible. Like, I want to make it not known to them that I haven't done a presentation in 3 years. I want them to think that I've been doing this forever. And then 2 guys are gonna go, Chasen and Hayden are gonna go, and that should be cool. And then after that, everybody's gonna go home for the weekend and forget about my presentation, which will be fine. I hope they still remember. I hope if there's something embarrassing that happens, they'll forget that. But and then Mom's coming tomorrow, and we're gonna go on a walk and eat lunch in my dorm after that. And then I need to pack up something to wear this weekend because we're gonna go see Legally Blonde on Saturday night, and I'm so excited. What, the lights change? Yeah, so then I'll just kind of get chill for the weekend and make some biology flashcards for my final that's in a week. And then I have one more essay for Dr. Grant to do. I have one more discussion post for Dr. Schmeiser, and then a quiz, and then the final. And then I have my biology final on Thursday, and then I will be done. So we're almost there. We're very close. Yay. I'm kind of like not certain about what I want to wear tomorrow, because I'm thinking of my Water Lilies shirt, because I've always liked how I look in that one, and it's white, and I look really good in white. I look really good in white. And my favorite jeans, I'll probably go with that, but maybe I'll get out a backup shirt just in case. But I kind of want to wear that striped shirt that I wore. But what day did I wear that? What day of the week was that? Because if I wore that to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, I don't want to wear it again because I wore that like last week. I'd have to look on my Snapchat memories. Getting really sleepy. So I think I'm going to go put my hair in a bun and put on my retainer and then get my clothes out and then get in my bed and read for a little bit. This is for my future self. This is what I'm reading right now. It's good. I like it. I didn't know it was a classic, even though it literally says at the top, contemporary American fiction. Like it's a classic. And then mom was like, yeah, it's a classic. She's read it. I stole it from Lena's room. So I think I'll do that and mentally prepare. But I also don't want to like trick myself into thinking it's a bigger deal than it is, because it's just like 8 people that I'm talking in front of, and I literally officiated a wedding in front of like 35 people. Most of them I did not know or ever meet until that day. So in this class, I've been around these people since January, and some of them even before that. So there's really no reason to be nervous, and plus I'm probably gonna have the best presentation out of all of them anyway. No offense, but that's just how things tend to happen. So we're gonna get moving. We got this. Future self, knuckle touch, a big hug for the future self. You're gonna do a good job. We're gonna do a good job. We got this. Everybody's gonna be like, wow, she knows how to present. She had a good topic, something I've never really heard that much about. Something you really don't learn about in history classes. So that's cool and interesting and new and different and unique. And I'm gonna remember that. And I actually learned something new. And that's what they're gonna think. Because if I go up there thinking this is a really important topic and everybody should know about it and I'm confident about it, then other people will be like, oh, maybe she's onto something. So I just need to keep that in mind. And I'm also having packets to pass out. I'm sending people home with a little goodie packet. I wish that I had like a piece of candy to give them, because like it is like a darker topic. Not dark, but like sensitive and personal. So I wish that I had like a piece of candy to give them, like a lollipop, but I don't have any lollipops. So. We have class on Monday and I'm going to Walmart with mom tomorrow. So maybe I can get like a bag of lollipops and on Monday pass them out to people and be like, I wanted to bring these on Friday, but I didn't have them. So, yay. And I also got Dr. Cable's present in the mail today. It's a blue blanket and a little tomato plushie, because he's a gardener and his wife is pregnant. And so I got a little tomato plushie that feels kind of like a beanbag, and the blanket is so soft. I was like, I wish I could keep this. It's very similar to this one and like how it feels, and it's blue, and I just thought that was like his vibe. And it's because he said like whenever it gets warm outside, they always crank up the air conditioning in the building and make his office really cold. And so he was like, I almost went and stole a blanket from the honors lounge, but I would never steal. He was like, I should probably get a blanket for my office. And so I'm gonna give him that. And then I got something for Dr. Schmeiser and it did not work out. I ordered a family what do you meme game and they gave me some kind of SpongeBob thing. I might have said this in another video. I don't remember at this point. And they didn't have the bobblehead that I wanted to give him. So now me and mom have to find some other stuff tomorrow. So yay. And I'll probably give that to him on Monday. If he's there. We'll see. I hope he is. Because otherwise I don't know when I'm gonna get. We'll see. Okay, it's been 25 minutes and I'm tired. I'm sleepy, so I'm gonna go get down to business. Okay. For the future Tebby. For tomorrow's Tebby. Look at the lights shaking and tweaking. They're so excited for me to present tomorrow. That's the lights cheering for me. They said, you did such a good job on the little presentation you just practiced. Thank you, lights.